looks good.
Yeah, that's the problem. And then like when it comes down to the end, you're like, gosh.
And I'm scared to see my grade for that.
Shut up, Clay. That's a compliment.
Thanks, Janelle.
It is. I mean, I think you can be frank, you can be blunt with students without being insulting. Okay, so now here at the bottom, I'm moving to the left a little bit. When I get to the center, I'm congruent again. The real litmus test, of course, is, does it feel like it's the same weight? Does it feel like the character width is the same width? See, I think I went out here just a little too far. And I think you'll all agree. See?
We have no idea.
So you just want it to feel like a spiral. It's got to be easy on the eyes. Just imagine if that were a plane ride. Would you be grabbing the barf bag because of the turbulence? Or would you go, gosh, are we even moving? Okay, so let's just take a look at that. The shift is subtle, but if I flip this back and forth, it should look like the character's dancing. A little bit. It's just kind of doing a little jig there. Okay, now let's put the third one down. You'd clean that up a little bit better than that, but in the interest of time. Oh, you've got one ready for me?
Yeah. Does it matter if we do the paper horizontally?
No, that's up to you. Just be consistent about that. So when you bind it in your book, you don't have to trim everything down to the lowest common denominator, and you find that your pages are too small. Okay, and the first thing we do is the guidelines. Did I do the guidelines on the last one? I don't think I did. Shame on me. That would be, it's easy to fix now. But it's easy to forget that you haven't done that because you can see them through the previous character so easily until, of course, you pull them apart, and then you're lost. Okay, now we're going to set this 4 degrees less, not more, to 59 degrees, right there. Now, as soon as you enter the 50-degree arena, that's when this compression that we talked about really starts to kick in. And you'll notice that the character begins to compress on itself. The weights start to get too thin. The character with itself begins to compress. So you kind of have to compensate for that and open it up a little bit. Here's our new extrema right up here. Now don't make the extrema any higher than it was. It's just moved to the right a little bit. And you're going to want to push the weight of this nose a little bit clockwise, right here, just slightly down, because there's a tendency for all the weight to accumulate in the very top of the nose and to accumulate in the butt of the character down here, which is exactly what a computer would do. You're going to move that to the right a little bit. You don't want this white shape, the counter space inside the E, to gain any real estate. It doesn't get bigger. It may get longer and more condensed. Okay, and then we're going to move. Fill that in. And you want to keep that teardrop shape in there. Don't distort it. Or create what I call a Frankenstein shape. It's just kind of ugly and stomps around the page, scaring the children. Okay, now we're going to move a little bit to the left, down here at the bottom, in anticipation of where the new extrema is, which is right there. And I'm going to shove the weight up this way a little bit, so we don't get a fat bottom. And I'm also kind of opening the character up slightly So you're seeing less of the character up here than you would if you'd shifted everything to the left.
So on the third one, there is a weight change, right? And
No.
There has to be, or no?
It's not a weight change. It's just a matter of opening the letter up a little bit. You're just going to pry it apart slightly. So it doesn't collapse on itself, but the weights won't change. The weights will try to change on you because you're slanting it. But you won't let it. Will you?
No.
Oh no.
Thank you, Henry.
Speak for the class.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, we're just about there. I'd spend a little more time on this, but I think you get the idea. Okay, the important thing is the spiral is still there. The weight's still the same from character to character. And the basic shape, that counter space inside the top of the E, really hasn't changed that much. But you can see the E slanting. It's just leaning over a little bit more each time. So you can always tell, if you've done it right, if the shapes are the same, they're just stretched a little, the weights are the same, and the character width is the same. And it's all perceptual.
Next week, do you want those presented the same way?
Yes.
Like underneath and
Yeah, I'll do a diagram on the board right now to explain how I want those up on the wall. So you can write that down, copy it. It's not on the handout, and it probably should be, because it's always confusing if I come in a little bit late and everybody's waiting to find out how to display their work, or you put it up and you've done it the wrong way. So I'll do that right now.
Okay.